Stop right now. Whatever you are doing, stop. Because this video did not appear in your feed by accident. You were guided here. Something far greater than the algorithm brought you to this exact moment. And what I'm about to tell you in the next few minutes, it will change everything you thought you knew about where you are right now in your life. Stay with me. Do not close this, because this door, it will not stay open long. There is a moment in every chosen one's life that feels like standing at the edge of a cliff. Not because you are about to fall, but because you are about to fly. And the fear of flying feels exactly like the fear of falling. You have been standing at that edge for a while now, haven't you? You can feel it. Something is shifting. Something is moving beneath the surface of your life. Like the earth itself is rearranging to make room for what is coming. You cannot explain it to the people around you. You have tried, maybe once or twice. And they looked at you like you were speaking a language they had never heard. That is because you were. Not everyone can hear the frequency you operate on. Not everyone was designed to understand the path you are walking. And that is not arrogance. That is discernment. There is a difference between thinking you are better than others and knowing that you were built differently. You were not made for the ordinary. You were not placed on this earth to simply exist, pay bills, grow old, and disappear. You were chosen. And the breakthrough you have been waiting for, the one you have prayed for on nights so dark you could not see your own hands. It is ready, right now, at this very moment. The door is open. But here is what nobody tells you about divine breakthroughs. They come with an expiration window, not because God is punishing you, not because the universe is cruel, but because timing is everything in the spiritual realm. There are seasons of acceleration. Moments when the heavens align, when every prayer you have ever whispered stacks up and creates a crack in the spiritual ceiling. And those moments require action. They require you to move, to step, to trust. The chosen one who hesitates at the threshold of their breakthrough does not get a second invitation the same way. The door opens again, yes, but at a different angle, from a different direction, and it costs more the second time. This is your first time with this particular door. Let that sit with you. Because I want you to understand something before we go deeper into this message. I want you to understand the weight of what is happening in your life right now. Not the surface level stuff, not the job situation, not the relationship tension, not the financial pressure. I mean the deeper thing, the invisible thing. The thing that keeps you awake at 2 or 3 in the morning when the whole world is asleep and you are lying there staring at the ceiling, feeling like something massive is about to happen but you cannot name it. That feeling is not anxiety. That feeling is activation. There is a difference. Anxiety tells you something bad is coming. Activation tells you something enormous is arriving. One in your body, your soul, your spirit does not yet know how to contain the magnitude of it. So it trembles. So it keeps you awake. So it makes you restless and unsettled in a life that no longer fits who you are becoming. You have been outgrowing your current life for longer than you realize. The relationships that used to feel comfortable now feel suffocating. The conversations that used to entertain you now feel shallow. The goals you used to chase now feel small, not because you have given up, but because you have been upgraded, quietly, invisibly. While you were sleeping, while you were praying, while you were surviving, God was upgrading your internal architecture, and now the outside has not caught up with the inside yet. That gap, that painful, confusing, isolating gap between who you are on the inside and what your life looks like on the outside, that is not failure. That is the final stretch before breakthrough. You are not behind. You are right on time. But the door I need you to understand, it is open right now, and I need you to walk through it before it moves to someone else. Let me tell you something about chosen people that most spiritual content will never say out loud. Being chosen is not a permanent state of passive receiving. It is not a golden ticket that guarantees everything falls into your lap without effort, without courage, without surrender. Being chosen means you were selected for a specific assignment, and that assignment requires your participation. God does not draft soldiers and then fight the battle for them entirely. He fights with them, he goes before them, he clears the path, but they still have to walk. You still have to walk. And walking looks different for every chosen one. For some of you listening right now, walking means making a decision you have been avoiding for 6 months. For some of you, it means ending something that is draining your divine energy. For some of you, it means starting something you've been too afraid to begin. And for some of you, and hear me on this, for some of you, walking simply means believing again, because somewhere along the journey, they broke your belief. Maybe it was a person. Maybe it was a series of disappointments so relentless that your faith developed scar tissue. Maybe you prayed for something so specific, so desperately, and waited so long, and when it did not come the way you expected, something inside you quietly shut a door. Not the door God is opening right now. The internal door, the one that leads to hope. I know what that feels like. To keep showing up on the outside while something inside you has gone silent. To keep praying words that feel like they are hitting the ceiling and bouncing back down. To keep trusting a process that looks like it has stalled. But let me tell you what was actually happening during that silence. God was not absent. God was constructing. When a master builder is working on the foundation of a skyscraper, the surface looks like nothing is happening for a long time. You see dirt, you see machinery, you see disruption, you see the old things being torn up and removed, and for weeks, sometimes months, it looks like destruction rather than construction. That is what your last season looked like. Destruction, loss, confusion, removal, isolation. But every single thing that was removed from your life, every person, every opportunity, every comfort was removed because it was not load-bearing for the structure God is building through you. Your foundation is being laid, has been laid. And now, right now, the building is about to begin rising above the surface. That is the breakthrough. That is the door that is open. And I need you to understand its anatomy. Because most chosen ones miss their breakthrough not because they are not ready, but because they do not recognize what a breakthrough actually looks like when it first appears. They expect a breakthrough to look like fireworks, like a sudden, dramatic, unmistakable shift where everything changes overnight and everyone around them can see it. They expect to feel extraordinary the morning their breakthrough arrives. They expect certainty. They expect clarity. They expect confidence. But breakthroughs rarely arrive that way. More often, a breakthrough arrives looking like a quiet nudge, a thought that keeps returning, a door that opens slightly, not dramatically, not with fanfare, just slightly, an opportunity that feels too simple to be significant, a conversation with a stranger that plants a seed, a moment of stillness in which a single thought drops into your spirit with a weight that tells you, this is it, this is the thing, this is the direction, and then you have a choice. Every chosen one at the threshold of their breakthrough faces this choice. Trust the nudge or wait for the fanfare. The ones who trust the nudge, they walk through the door while it is open. They act on the quiet instruction. They move before the full picture is visible because they have learned that God rarely shows the full picture before the first step. He shows enough for one step. And when you take that step, He illuminates the next one. That is faith in motion. That is what chosen ones were built for. And right now, something in your spirit already knows what your nudge is. You already know what the quiet instruction is. It has been sitting in the corner of your consciousness for days, maybe weeks. You have been circling it, analyzing it, questioning it, wondering if it is really from God or just your own wishful thinking. Here is how you know the difference. Wishful thinking fades when circumstances get hard. Divine instruction intensifies under pressure. The more you resist it, the louder it gets. The more you try to rationalize it away, the more it returns. It is not obsessive. It is not fearful. It is steady. It is persistent. It is quiet, but immovable. That is the voice of God, and it has been speaking to you. The breakthrough it is pointing you toward is not something you need to manufacture. It is not something you need to force or hustle your way into. It is already prepared. It was prepared before you were even aware you needed it. The scripture is clear. God prepares a table in the presence of your enemies. He prepares it, not you. He sets it. He covers it. He makes it ready. Your job is simply to sit down at the table. But to sit down, you have to first believe you are invited. And that is where so many chosen ones get stuck. Not in the doing, in the believing, in the receiving. Because after seasons of disappointment, receiving feels dangerous. Hoping feels reckless. Believing feels like setting yourself up for another fall. I want to address that fear directly, because the fear of hope is one of the most subtle and most devastating weapons that the enemy uses against chosen ones specifically. He does not come at you with obvious temptation. He comes at you with exhaustion, with discouragement, with the memory of every time you hoped and it did not work out. He whispers, "Remember last time? Remember how sure you were? Remember how much it hurt?" And so you protect yourself by keeping your expectations small, by hedging your hope, by almost believing but not quite, by being interested in your breakthrough but not invested in it. That protection is costing you the very thing you are waiting for. Because breakthrough requires full faith, not perfect faith, full faith. There is a difference. Perfect faith has no questions, no doubts, no fears. Full faith has all of those things and moves forward anyway. Full faith says, "I do not fully understand this. I cannot see the whole picture. I remember every time this did not work. And I am stepping through this door anyway because something greater than my fear is telling me this time is different. This time is different. And here is why I know that with absolute certainty. Because you are still here, after everything, after every disappointment, every closed door, every season that felt like it would break you. You are still here, still seeking, still watching, still listening. A person who was not chosen, a person who was not protected, a person who did not have a divine assignment, they would have stopped long ago. The fact that you are still standing, still searching, still hungry for truth, that itself is evidence of the hand of God on your life. You do not survive what you have survived without divine protection. You do not keep getting up after what has knocked you down without an invisible hand lifting you. You were kept deliberately, intentionally. Because what is on the other side of this door requires someone who has been through what you have been through. Your pain was not punishment. Your pain was preparation. Your wilderness was not abandonment. Your wilderness was training ground, and the training is complete. The door is open. Part 1 ends here, but do not move. Because in Part 2, I am going to show you exactly what this breakthrough looks like. What you must do in the next 24 to 72 hours to align yourself with it, the 3 things that will close this door if you do not address them, and the specific signs that confirm, without any doubt, that you are the one this message was meant for. Stay right here. Welcome back. If you made it to Part 2, I want you to know something. That was not by accident either. Most people stop. Most people get distracted, skip ahead, close the tab. The fact that you are still here, still listening, is itself a sign. File that away, because before this message is over, you will understand exactly why your persistence in this moment matters more than you think. Now, let us go deeper. In Part 1, I told you that your breakthrough is ready, that the door is open, that the preparation season is complete, and that what you have been waiting for has been waiting for you. Now, I want to go into the specific anatomy of what is happening in your life right now, and I want to be precise. I want to be so precise that by the time this message ends, you will not have a single doubt that this was meant for you. Let us start with what your breakthrough actually is, because I said it earlier. Most chosen ones misidentify their breakthrough. They are looking for one thing while God is delivering another. They are expecting a financial miracle while God is sending a divine connection. They are expecting a relationship restoration while God is delivering a revelation about their purpose. They are expecting external change while God is completing an internal transformation that will produce external change on a scale they cannot yet imagine. Your breakthrough is not just one thing. It is a sequence. Think of it like a domino effect in the spiritual realm. God tips the first domino, and then everything else falls in order. But here is the key. He tips the first domino and then waits for you to tip the second one. The sequence is collaborative. It is a partnership. He opens the door, you walk through, he tips the first domino, you tip the second, he provides the opportunity, you take the step, the breakthrough you are standing at the edge of right now. It begins with a single act of alignment, and alignment looks different for everyone. But let me describe what it feels like universally, so you can recognize it in your own life. Alignment feels like finally stopping the internal argument, the argument between what you know you are supposed to do and the fear that has been holding you back from doing it. Alignment is the moment you stop negotiating with your own calling. You know what you are called to do. Somewhere beneath all the noise, beneath all the fear, beneath all the, but what if it doesn't work? And but who am I to think I can do this? You have always known. It was placed inside you before you were born. It is the thing that has never fully left you, no matter how many times you tried to walk away from it. It is the thing that comes back when everything else falls away. When you are alone, when the distractions are gone, when it is just you and the silence, it is still there, waiting, patient, immovable. That thing is your assignment, and your breakthrough is directly connected to it, not loosely connected, directly connected. God does not bless people away from their purpose. He blesses people toward it, which means the door that is open right now is not a door to a comfortable distraction. It is a door to your assignment, and it may be uncomfortable. It may require you to be seen in ways you have been hiding from. It may require you to speak when you have been silent, to build when you have been planning, to invest when you have been saving everything out of fear. But it is the door, and it is open. Now let me talk about the timeline, because I said this door will not stay open long, and I need you to understand what that means spiritually. In the natural world, we think of doors as permanent fixtures. A door on a building stays there until someone removes it. But in the spiritual realm, doors are more like windows of grace. They open at specific times for specific reasons, aligned with specific seasons in your divine timeline. And they are responsive, not to your convenience, but to your readiness. When a window of grace opens and you do not step through it, it does not slam shut in punishment. It shifts, it adjusts. God is endlessly patient, but the opportunity reconfigures. What could have been a direct path becomes a longer road. What could have been an easy door becomes a harder climb. Not because you are being punished, but because the season changed. And different seasons carry different assignments, different costs, different levels of spiritual momentum. Right now, you are in a season of maximum momentum. The wind is at your back. The heavens are aligned. Every prayer you have prayed, every sacrifice you have made, every time you stayed faithful when it cost you something, it has been stacking, compounding, building pressure in the spiritual atmosphere above your life. And that pressure is looking for a release point. That release point is this breakthrough. This is why the door will not stay open long, or not because God is cruel, but because momentum is a precious resource. And momentum that is not channeled dissipates. It looks for another vessel, another chosen one who is ready to receive it. You do not want to be the one who lets the momentum pass. So let me give you the 3 things, and I promised you these in part 1, the 3 things that will close this door if you do not address them. Because this is the part that most spiritual content skips. They tell you the breakthrough is coming, but they never tell you what blocks it. They want you to feel good, but they do not want to tell you the truth. I am going to tell you the truth. The first thing that will close this door is unforgiveness. I know, you have heard this before, but hear me say it in a new way. Unforgiveness is not just a spiritual toxin in your heart, it is a frequency blocker. When you are carrying unresolved bitterness toward a person, a situation, a past version of yourself, it creates a frequency in your spirit that is incompatible with the frequency of breakthrough. Breakthrough operates on the frequency of open hands. Unforgiveness operates on the frequency of clenched fists. You cannot receive with clenched fists. This does not mean what was done to you was acceptable. It does not mean the person who hurt you deserves a relationship with you. Forgiveness is not reconciliation. Forgiveness is releasing your grip on the debt. It is saying, I am no longer going to let what happened to me be the thing that blocks what is coming for me. Who do you need to release right now? Not for them, for you, for your breakthrough, for the door that is open and waiting. The second thing that will close this door is comparison. Specifically, comparing your timeline to someone else's. Chosen ones are uniquely vulnerable to this because their paths are uniquely delayed. They see people around them advancing, succeeding, building, people who do not appear to have the same depth of calling, the same level of preparation, the same spiritual weight. And they begin to question, why them and not me? Why is it taking so long? What am I doing wrong? You are not doing anything wrong. You are not on their timeline because you are not on their assignment. Your breakthrough is calibrated to your specific calling, and your specific calling is larger than what you can currently see. The reason it has taken longer is not because you are behind. It is because what God is building through you requires a foundation that most people will never need, because most people will never carry what you are called to carry. Stop measuring your construction timeline against someone else's. They are building a house. You are building a cathedral. Cathedrals take longer. They always have. The third thing that will close this door is comfort addiction. This one is the most subtle and the most dangerous. Comfort addiction is when the pain of staying the same becomes slightly more tolerable than the fear of changing. It is when you have adapted so completely to your current circumstances, even painful ones, that the idea of something different feels more threatening than the circumstances themselves. You know you are comfort addicted when you spend more time consuming content about your breakthrough than taking steps toward it. When you watch every video, read every message, feel inspired for an hour, and then go back to exactly the same patterns. When inspiration has become a substitute for action rather than a catalyst for it. This video, right now, is meant to be a catalyst, not a comfort. I need you to do something with what you are feeling right now, not tomorrow, today, this hour, because the window of grace is open, and action inside a window of grace carries 10 times the power of action outside of it. When heaven and earth are aligned toward your breakthrough, a single step of faith creates a shockwave through the spiritual atmosphere. Take the step. Now, I want to talk about the signs. The specific signs that confirm this message is for you, and I want to be precise, because not every person watching this is in this exact breakthrough window. Some of you are in preparation, some of you are in rest, some of you are in a different phase entirely. But some of you, the ones this message is specifically for, will recognize every single one of these signs. The first sign is recurring disruption. Things in your life have been breaking down in ways that feel almost orchestrated. Not random chaos, but targeted disruption. Relationships ending suddenly, plans falling apart, routines being interrupted, financial structures shifting. If this has been happening to you in the last 3 to 6 months with unusual intensity, that is not bad luck. That is God clearing the runway. Before every major breakthrough, He removes what would distract you from it, what would keep you too comfortable to receive it, what would give you an alternative to walking through the door. The runway is being cleared for your landing. The second sign is intensified spiritual hunger. You have been drawn to messages like this one with unusual frequency and intensity. You have been waking up with a sense of urgency you cannot fully explain. You have been praying differently, not the routine prayers, but the desperate, honest, raw conversations with God at odd hours. You have been hungering for something that food cannot fill. That hunger is divine. It is the soul recognizing that its season is shifting and reaching toward what comes next. The third sign is increased warfare. The closer you get to your breakthrough, the more resistance you feel. This is not coincidence. It is confirmation. The enemy does not deploy heavy artillery against people who are not threats. The level of warfare you are experiencing right now is directly proportional to the level of impact your breakthrough will have. If the last season has felt like spiritual warfare of unusual intensity, if attacks have come from unexpected directions, if people who seemed safe have turned, if your mind has been under unusual assault, take that as confirmation, not as discouragement. You are close. That is why it is intensifying. The fourth sign is a strange peace beneath the storm. Even in the middle of all the disruption, all the warfare, all the uncertainty, there is a layer beneath it all that is completely still. A deep, quiet knowing that you cannot fully articulate, almost like a part of you that exists below the waves, and no matter how high the waves get, that deep place remains undisturbed. That peace is not produced by circumstances, it is produced by the Holy Spirit. And it is the signature of a chosen one who is being held by something greater than their situation. That peace is your confirmation. That peace is God saying, I have not forgotten you. I have not abandoned you. I see exactly where you are. And I am telling you, through this message, through this moment, through this specific intersection of your timeline and this video, breakthrough is not coming. Breakthrough is here. The fifth sign is that you found this video. I said it at the beginning, and I will say it again at the end, because it matters. The algorithm did not bring you here. Systems do not have the capacity to orchestrate divine appointments, but God does. And He used whatever He needed to use to make sure that you, specifically you, not everyone watching, but you, would be sitting exactly where you are right now, hearing exactly what you are hearing. This was not random. You were guided here, which means everything I have said in this message was prepared for you. The breakthrough is prepared for you. The open door is prepared for you. The momentum, the grace, the divine alignment, all of it, prepared for you before this day began. Now let me bring this home. Let me tell you what to do with this. In the next 24 hours, I want you to do 3 things, not 7, not a 15-step process. 3 things. First, write down the thing you have been circling, the nudge that keeps returning, the instruction that will not leave you alone. Write it down specifically, not vaguely, specifically, because vague intention produces vague results. Specific clarity invites specific divine response. Second, make one move. One concrete, real-world, visible action toward the thing you wrote down, not a plan to make a move, not a thought about making a move, an actual move. Send the message, make the call, write the first paragraph, open the account, take the class. One real move, because God responds to motion. Faith without works is dead. Not dormant, not delayed, dead. Bring it to life with one move. Third, protect your peace for the next 72 hours. Be extremely selective about what you consume, who you speak to, what conversations you allow yourself into. You are in a window of breakthrough. Windows of breakthrough are spiritually sensitive environments. Not every voice, not every opinion, not every well-meaning friend needs access to what you are carrying right now. Protect it like it is fragile, because in its early stages, it is. In 72 hours, look back. Look at what shifted. Look at what opened. Look at what moved. You will be amazed, because when a chosen one walks through a door that God has opened, with full faith, with specific intention, with one real move, heaven responds. It always has. It always will. The breakthrough is ready. The door is open. You were brought here for a reason. Walk through it.